last couple of years, you've heard me come up and talk about whatever the latest DEF thing that we had on the market this year. A couple of years ago, we redid our containment. That was our DS-DEF 1836 and DS-DEF 1535, and those are for Encore and Ovation. This past year, we've been working to improve on that even further. So at the beginning of last year, or middle of last year, we released our HEF DEF heat trace entry fitting. So this is our HEF entry fitting, but this one has a little special piece on it, which is the grommet. So this grommet will allow you to run all of your piping and your access pipe the way you always have, but in the instances where heat trace is needed in those colder areas for DEF, we've allowed this so that you can bring in your product pipe and your heat trace right in along at the exact same time. So then you can splice this or continue it running over into the next sump, however you choose to do that. This has opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people. It's a great replacement for a lot of different ways that this has been done in the past, and it does allow for easy replaceability, as you can remove the grommet, remove the inside of the boot, and pull out the pipe along with the heat trace, rewrap the heat trace, and push the pipe back in. So we still have the retractability that you're used to with FlexWorks. This just adds to it. This is denoted in our part numbers for loop as a G. We have the DSL-R, which is the rigid, and this would be the DSL-G for grommet entry fitting. So what I'm really excited to show you this year is kind of the pinnacle of what we've been working for. There's been a lot of different shear valves out there, some of them hogged out of stainless, some of them coated with some other things. There's not really been a designed for DEF shear valve in the past. So without further ado, I present to you the new 60V DEF-SST. That is just changing our part number and adding the stainless nomenclature there on the side. And what this does is it takes one of the valves that we've created in the past and really refines it for its exact specific purpose, which is DEF fueling. You can see here that typical of all of our shear valves, we've got our machined design groove. That is so that we always know exactly when and where this valve will react. Like its predecessor, it does also have double poppet construction, so we're going to contain the fuel below and above. This is completely cast. We had the cast created out of to be cast in stainless, so it is 100% stainless. There are no coatings, nothing else on there that you would need to worry about or to divulge to your customer. And then also we've matched up the bolt pattern on the back. So one of the things that came up a lot with the old valve was that the mounting was a good bit different from the rest of our series of shear valves. So this draws it right in line with where everything else goes. This fits our standard mounting plate, which then can get the hardware to go across the stabilizer bar to rigidly mount this thing in place. So on the top, which is going to be going up into the dispenser, this is a 1-inch NPT fitting. So we've done away with the British thread or the straight thread that had been in its predecessor, which called for adapters and other things to make the piping work. So this is going to be just an NPT top that is 1 inch to go up into the dispenser to bring the line up. And then in the bottom, this is an 1.5 inch NPT. So this will mate up with any of our flex connectors that have that 1.5 inch. We know that the 1 inch flex connectors are a little bit rare, and that distributors and contractors typically have the 1.5 inch flex connectors on their shelves. So the NPT is going to be a big boost for the installers out there, getting rid of the adapters. We'll just need to use that with some DEF approved sealant. So this is how this will come straight out of the box, threads right onto the riser. But you know, in the last 2 years, we've also expanded our loop line to include that DEF loop. So when that DEF loop is called for, we will attach this piece, which is again a custom mold that we had done so that we could cast these in stainless. And this, just like all of our other loop shear valves, will have an O-ring on the inside, and then it will bolt together with the valve that I just showed you. So essentially what we've done here is we've completely adapted just a standard system DEF shear valve, and then with stainless hardware we can now turn that immediately into a shear valve for our loop sumps. Now what this does for us is it opens up a couple of things. First, on the previous lines, we've only had the SBC was the only fitting that you could use, as everything that we were going into was MPT. But now that we're making all of our own castings, we've opened that up to include the DPC. And that's what I have here. This is machined to fit our DPC. It gives us that good machine surface that we're going to get our seal on whenever we bring our product pipe up to it. So we'll, just like the current offerings we have now, you can come in and then go out. Or if it is if that's the dead end for the run, then this side will not be machined and it's a dead end over on this side. Now lastly, but not least, one of the cooler parts that we've done with this is because recirculation has taken on such a greater role in this DEF market, is we wanted to, whatever we provide to the customer, we wanted them to have the ability to very easily run that recirculation system. So the recirculation system uses a 1/4 inch MPT, a thermometer, into the furthest area away from the tank. That allows you to read the temperature at the area in which it will be at its coldest. So that's when you want to know. When the coldest area is over a threshold, it'll kick that motor on and recycle all that DEF through the lines so we don't even toe the line of hitting where it will freeze. So what we've done with our casting is in every single one of these you'll get an MPT where it's already tapped through, that has been machined and it's ready. However, it is not machined as a through hole. So all of these will be the same, but only in the event when you're using the recirculation system can you actually drill through the bottom of the casting here, and it'll give you a direct place to just go ahead and mount that temperature probe. So over the last couple of years, like I said, we've really been trying hard to rein this in. Like Ed said, it's kind of the wild, wild west 5 years ago for DEF. So with the launch of this shear valve, we've got new entry fittings, new containment that includes loop systems, and now we have the most premium shear valve for DEF on the market. This does not change the list price with which this valve will be sold, and I think you guys will like that because it's a much higher quality valve for the price of what you're going to be getting. Should you guys have any additional questions, please reach out. Reach out to the DM in your area. Get a hold of me if it's a very specific question. I really look forward to talking with you about this and understanding how this might help your business.